Welcome to the show. It is me, your girl Labora Lee, aka Cat Lee, and you have now tuned in to Ambitiously the podcast. Yes, you have. Yes, you have, honey. Today is every now and again I like to come through and drop a little knowledge. And if you can see in the title, if you're watching or when you download this podcast, the title of this show is Discernment is a Must. And it's a reason why I decided to talk about discernment this evening. But first thing you need to know it is Wet and Wired Wednesday. Today is the day that we come and have the adult conversation. We talk about all the things that we need to talk about because there are things as adults that we definitely need to talk about. And sometimes these conversations also come with growth or a possible avenue for us to grow. And I talk about the naughty, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too. But when it boils down to it, at the end of the day, it's about growth. And even with the naughty talk, it's still about growth. So that's that. So a few things that we need to say before we get into the conversation. First things first, the phone line is always open on every show. The number is 443-850-4828. 443-850-4828. The line is open. You can call in, you can text, you can drop a comment, you can ask me to drop the link, and I will because I'm that nice. Just come on your best behavior. Don't come on here showing me your little Oscar Myers and stuff. I don't want to see that. I'm good. Just come on your best behavior so we can talk about some things. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Every like and every share and every subscription helps us grow as a podcast, as a YouTube channel, as a viewer channel, just in general. It helps us grow. So come through and take a gander. Okay. Before I get started, y'all know I have to do this. Gotta pay the bills. Can't keep the show running without paying the bills. And I will give you some information on this in 1 second. I'll be right back. What's good, my ambitious ones? I am here because Savage Fenty is offering up something extraordinary. You get 2 for $29 bras and 50% off other items for new VIP members. You heard me. 2 bras for $29 plus 50% off of other items for new VIP memberships. I mean, you can't beat that. Okay, I'm back. Now, I told y'all on Monday's show that YouTube is on this new wave where you really can't share certain links anymore or they will strike your videos, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to tell you is go to our Linktree link. I can't post it, but I can tell you. www.linktree. There is a dot in between the R and the 2 E's, /ambitiously, and you will find the links to our sponsors. I can share it in the comments, but I can't really share it in my description. That's why my description has been shortened a little bit if you're on Facebook, and you'll notice that. But if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description below. And Twitch is never in the description. Just trust me. I just told you what it was. You can go there and find the link. But yeah, ladies, make sure you go. Fellas too, because Savage Fenty has stuff for the fellas too. I have a few items. I don't have on anything Savage Fenty today because it's a different situation with my undergarments today. But definitely a lot of great items for everybody, all sizes, for everybody. There's something there for everyone. So let's get into discernment. Before I go into my rant about discernment, I feel like when I talk about these type of topics, it's very important to give a little bit of education about what it is, and then I can go into what I mean by using it, especially with discernment. So first, before you can get to discernment, you have to get into the verb of being able to discern. So what is discern? Detect, to be able to detect or sense or recognize, as recognize certain things. You know, mentally, physically, is sometimes that, well, a lot, what it all means is to just be able to do those things. Now, discernment, the quality of being able to grasp or comprehend what is obscure, the skill of discerning, an act of perceiving or discerning something. That is what discernment means. So before I can even get to you and tell you about, this whole little speech I got laid out about discernment, I have to be able to give you the understanding of what discernment is. Now, in life, there are a lot of things that we should be able to use discernment in. Like, for example, I had my spouse at the time on the show, and I used discernment when it came to asking a certain question because I didn't feel like at that moment it was the right time to ask it. And then he said something, and then I was able to bring that question back. That was back in November. So that was an act of me showing discernment, right? But there's other things in life, I promise you, that you should be using discernment, whether it be relationships, sex and relationships kind of go hand in hand, career choices, parenting. There is always a time where you should be using discernment. So I'm going to give you another example of when I use discernment. And it was one of the best decisions that I ever made. I used discernment when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. I'm not going to lie to you. I was in that stage because I was having so much fun as far as my career was going. Because remember, before I became a podcaster, I was always in marketing first. I had my own marketing. Well, I still have my own marketing agency. I just took a hiatus from that for a second so I can, concentrate on building my brand. But I was living my best life. I was working with musicians. I was working with a tattoo shop. I was having the time of my life. I was just having a good time, right? And then her father and I, we had been friends for about 12 years prior to the situation, and one thing led to another, and then next thing you know, we were having a baby. I had to use discernment of whether or not I wanted to be a parent. And I prayed and I asked God for the Most High for discernment, and He said, "This is your baby." And so I had my daughter, and it's one of the best times that I've ever used discernment. One of the best cases where I've ever used discernment, because it's been the best life. Like, having her was one of the best things I could have ever did. So discernment is, you use it in different aspects of life. When it comes to, and they'll tell you this if you go to like a religious type of situation. Although I do have a religion, I do not practice. I don't go to the synagogue or anything like I'm supposed to, but I'm very spiritual and I believe very much in the Most High. So, I pray and I ask for discernment, right? But there are other times, like I said, relationships, career choices, things of that nature, decisions you make as a parent. You need discernment. It's very important. If you're late coming in and you miss that part, it's recognizing, understanding certain things, and using your sight and your senses to understand these things. So I'm going to get into this one part real quick. Well, before I get to that, let me get into a couple of things, because I like to start with the wire before I start with the actual thing. But we're going to talk tonight we're really going to get into discernment, because I really feel like a lot of us don't understand, especially the the younger ones. Like, they haven't had the opportunity to have somebody maybe sit down with them and talk to them about discernment. Because these streets out here, honey, yeah, you can tell that they're not really big on discernment. But so let's talk about Joe Buttons and his comments about Michael B. Jordan after he called him out for being corny to a female correspondent, L'Oreal. If any other black multi-millionaire embarrassed a woman on the red carpet, y'all would call him a lot more than corny. I agree with him that they would. And do I feel like that was a time for Michael B. Jordan to call her out about it? Not necessarily. Again, tonight's topic is discernment. Michael B. Jordan should have made a choice. I mean, he should have used discernment on whether or not that was the time to address what she used to call, what she used to call him or whatever. Like, I do agree with Joe Biden. That was his moment, and he should have used it for, because listen, you doing your thing, Michael, and L'Oreal is actually doing her thing. She's out there. She's on the red carpet. She's interviewing people, and she's come a long way. Because if you don't know about who L'Oreal is, she used to be on Love and Hip Hop. But it was an opportunity for him to use discernment on how to carry that. But obviously, he felt some kind of way about that. And so he addressed it. Was it the right time? Not necessarily. He did not use discernment. But at the same time, neither does Joe Buttons all the time. He says a lot of unnecessary things. He does. Him discussing it, he used discernment because that's his job. He's a podcaster. He's supposed to talk about these type of things. But it's a lot of times that he talks about stuff that is unnecessary and he's not using his best discernment. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I also wanted to talk about something that was brought to my attention, which the question was, is a man supposed to spoil his woman? I'm going to switch it around and say, are spouses supposed to spoil each other? I very much believe that they should, and they absolutely should, because that's the person that you chose. Why wouldn't you spoil them? Why would you treat them any less than what they're supposed to be treated? I'm sorry, y'all probably heard that. All kinds of things is going off right now, and I don't know why. I'm going to take that off for a second. I'll bring the phone line back on so this can get its rocks off. But, and I'm going to move it so it won't be so much in the mic. But, and it's still going off. I don't know. Okay. So, again, but that's totally up to you. That is another case of using discernment. You discern whether or not that person is the person that you're supposed to be spoiling. But if you chose that person, then you did use discernment on saying, this is the person that I want to be with. And it's nothing wrong with spoiling each other, yo. Like, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to get into that in a second. So I want to talk about this case real quick that just hit the scenes lately. There was a former Tennessee police officer. She was fired in a public naughty scandal. She's suing the department, claiming that she was groomed to do these things that she did. And I believe it was like, hold on, because I don't want to be wrong about the number. I believe it was 6 other officers that she was engaged with. But let's get into it. So the former Tennessee police officer who was dismissed after, I'm just going because I don't want to be blind. I hate being blind. Let's see if the phone line is good now, because I did not want all of these things going off at the same time. I did not. So let me fix that now so we can get back into the groove of things. But it was just too much going on at one time. Okay. Put that back on and we should be good to go in a second or two. Hold on. Okay, we back. All right. So, a former Tennessee officer who was dismissed after allegations of a casual liaison among her fellow officers filed a federal complaint alleging that she was exposed to grooming after work. Who so her name is Megan Hall. She told investigators that she had been had relations with I lowered the number for the girl. 7 policemen, 2 of whom were her superiors, filed a petition Monday in the U.S. District Court of Nashville. Hall confessed to having relations with on-duty personnel on police grounds. The ex-officer admitted to having, oh my gosh, she admitted to having threesomes with one officer, and his wife admitted internal investigations into her conduct. The complainant mentions a former police chief. We'll just call him Chip. So it was a police chief, a sergeant, then some regular officers. The suit claims that the defendants deny Hall's due process and they denied Hall's due process and violated federal law by distributing her photos online and across state borders. According to the reports, the 26-year-old previously attributed her escapades to her troubled marriage. Oh my gosh, scandalous. The legal filing claims were Miss Hall sought role models at her new job, but instead found predators. I think we good on that part of the story. If you're not from, because I have listeners who are not from the United States, and I'm quite sure this happens in other countries that allow women to be police officers, right? This is a thing here. She's not the only one. She's not the only one who's been caught in a little scandal, a little teeter-tay here in the United States. She's probably the first one. I don't know. I doubt that she's the first one in Tennessee. I just really doubt it. It happens across the board. And especially with the younger officers, the rookies, because they're coming in and they're thinking like they got to do. As a matter of fact, all right, so y'all don't know this. I'm big on Law and Order. I love Law and Order. I haven't watched it lately. It's been a little dry, but I've been not any Law and Order though. Let's get this straight. It has to be SVU. I love SVU, right? I do. And no, I like the original Law and Order. I did like the original Law and Order. I never liked Criminal Intent, but I love SVU. I love SVU. And plus it has some tie-ins to where I'm from, Baltimore. So it was kind of like, yes, Officer Munch, he was an officer here in Baltimore and he transferred to New York. And then it was another show that used to be based on Baltimore. It was a cop show too. I didn't really watch that show, but nonetheless, there was an episode where there was a case where similar to this. It happens, and a lot of the stories that come on Law and Order are based upon real stories. They just switch it up a little bit, right? So it happens. Is she gonna be successful in this suit? I don't know, but they released her nude photos online, and that is a crime in this country. So I don't know. We're going to see where this goes. I'm interested. I'm going to keep up on this case because I'm interested to see what happens as far as this case goes. But bringing it back to the title of the show, it's about discernment. You have to recognize some of the actions that you take. You also have to recognize some of the decisions that you make. You have to use discernment about the things that you do. She should have used discernment about who everybody has problems in their relationship. Trust me, everybody has problems in their relationships. But the decisions that you make are going to come with consequences and actions and things of that nature. So should she had used discernment about sleeping with her coworkers and her superiors? Yeah, she absolutely should have. Should they have used discernment about leaking her photos online? Absolutely. But we don't really know the backstory about, you know what I mean, like what happened. That's why discernment is a must. We don't know if she was like trying to blackmail them and that's why they did it. We just don't know. We don't know. And she having threesomes with her superior and his wife. It's crazy. That's a whole thing, honey. But yeah, that happened. So I'm gonna save that for last. Okay, so now I want to get back into the point of tonight. But she should have used discernment. Like, even if you were having troubles in your marriage, you probably shouldn't have sought refuge within your workplace. You know, they have certain rules set in place. This is why a lot of harassment charges come up on people, because you're not supposed to be fraternizing with your coworkers. That's just not what you're supposed to do, and that's what she was doing. Oh no, I'm going to bring this one up. So, a huge case in discernment that the president has to use, which is they're saying this could be the end of influencers. I doubt it, because this is just one platform. So stop being so dramatic. U.S. House panel votes to advance bill giving President Biden the power to ban TikTok. That's going to affect a lot of people's bags, though, because a lot of people do use TikTok to make money. It's at the president's discretion, and it's up to him to use discernment on whether or not he wants to do that. TikTok has been a big thing lately. Like, a lot of people have been having issues when it comes to the kids and things of that nature. Let me show y'all something real quick, and y'all probably can't see it, but I'm going to show you. My daughter, she has a laptop. I use discernment. You can't really see it, but I use discernment on about what she is allowed to get on, like even TikTok. She has to ask me for permission to get on TikTok. She had, okay, you could see it. I looked at the other monitor. She has to ask me for permission to get on certain sites. That's discernment. You want to make sure that you recognize the things that your children are doing. That is a case of discernment, what I say when it comes to parenting. You just got to be on top of things. So I watch everything that my daughter, she asks me for permission. And sometimes she'll like be all the way upstairs and she'll come all the way, Mom, can I? Okay, let me see what it is that you want to get on. Certain sites, nope, I'm not having it. Certain sites, yes, I'm having it. YouTube, it asks me for permission for her to get on everything. It's using discernment. You know what I mean? Like, it is. I'm recognizing that this is some things that some things she should not be on and some things she should be on. It's discernment. So yeah. So let's get into some other examples of discernment. I'm dead serious. When I was talking about these streets out here, a lot of our young people don't know how to use discernment because they have not been properly taught how to use discernment. This is why we have a lot of them out here being knuckleheads. A lot of lives are being lost. A lot of things are happening that should not be happening because they're not using discernment. But think about it. If they're not using discernment, were their parents using discernment? Did their parents use discernment in teaching them that, all right, this is not what you want. This is not what you should be doing? No, they did not. They weren't recognizing that their kids were out here and very much in the elements, very much in a situation to where as though that they can be guided and led the wrong way. It's a lot of parents out here that are not doing their jobs. They're not up on it. So yeah, it's about discernment. So let's talk about when it comes to relationships, right? We all have these scenarios where you making a discernment of whether or not you want to be in a relationship with somebody or not. And then you have to use discernment. Is this person right for me? And I'm using the word because this is what tonight's show is about. So I'm going to keep using the word because I need to burn it in your brain. Use discernment. Um, but because it is about making great decisions. It's all about making great decisions, and a lot of us do not do it. So the first thing is when we get in relationships sometimes, and it happens to a lot of us, men, women, I don't care what you are. A lot of us make these decisions that we want to be in a relationship with a certain person. I personally use discernment when choosing to be in a relationship with the person I chose, because one is he was my friend first, and that was very important to me. These are things that I thought about. And we were homies. We were homies, and I wanted to be with somebody who I had a friendship with, because that's very important in a relationship. It's not just about the physical attributes. It's not about, for me, it's never about what the person has, because in my mind, we can build together. I always wanted to be with somebody that I have the potential for growth with. We're gonna move to the next level. All right, you do this, I do this, but it's all about us growing together. So, who better to grow with than your friend? So I use discernment. I wanted to be in a relationship with my friend, and that's what I did. A lot of times. So when it comes to using discernment and making that decision about who it is you want to be with, you should use discernment. You absolutely, but you never ever know, what you're gonna get all the time either. But so it's kind of a guessing game a little bit, but you have to really sit down and analyze. And I'm guilty. I'm very much an overthinker. I am. I think about everything. Like, is this a good move? Should I be doing this? Is this something that makes sense? But like I said, it's like playing poker. You just don't know what hand you're going to be served. You don't know. So then you use the discernment of whether or not you're going to stay together. A lot of times things happen. Well, no, that's before whether or not you're going to stay together. Then you use discernment in the decisions that you make, on the actions that you take during that relationship. Remember, I'm in the relationship bag right now. The actions that you're going to take during that relationship. Are you going to be loyal? Are you going to be committed? Are you going to be respectful? Are you going to be, are you going to put your best foot forward to make sure that this is what you want to do? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, because that's what I do in this. I don't come on here to lie to you, right? In my younger years, I did not use good discernment all the time. I got married to somebody, didn't use the greatest judgment on picking the person that I married, had to deal with that bull crap. It was not great discernment. We'll go a little further than before I got married. There were relationships that I got into, but I was young and I was dumb, and I admit it. I did not use great discernment in this one particular relationship. I'm going to say I didn't use my best judgment. I really thought with my emotions. I was very emotional that night that I did what I did, but I didn't use good judgment. I did not use discernment, and I did something. I'm not going to say exactly what I did, but it was off of me reacting to what he did to me. But I wasn't understanding. I was too young and dumb to understand that he was actually dealing with something. He was mad and angry. And we'll just say this. He left me stranded. And then him leaving me stranded, I made a decision to do something else that wasn't so great. And it came back to kick me in my ass. But it didn't come back to kick me in my ass right then and there. It came back to kick me in my ass many, many years later. So I didn't use good discernment. You feel me? And like I said, it came back to kick me in my ass many, many years later, because in my mind it's like, okay, things are back good again. And then they weren't. Because he brought that shit up, like, so you did this, that, and the third. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That was like eons ago, but it didn't matter. It affected him. And I apologized for it, and I was honest that I did it, and I apologized for it. But I didn't use good judgment. I did not use my good senses. I didn't have the vision to see that what I was doing was fucked up. Cussing at, well, I've been on here for a minute, so, but I didn't use my discernment. And it kicked me in my butt. So, we do things, but especially when you're young and dumb, that's what I'm saying about these younger generations. They have no clue about what they're doing. They do not use discernment. And then fast forward, it's just a lot of bad decisions I made within relationships, but I wasn't using good discernment. Now, once I got past that marriage situation, which was not the great, I did not use discernment. Once I got past that stage and started moving on to, my older years, I started using discernment. I started thinking about things a little bit clearer and like, okay, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? And if it made me feel uneasy, then I knew that I was not supposed to be, it's not something I'm supposed to be doing, like, at all. Like, even now, like, when it comes to the person that I'm in love with, I can't even fake or lie like I'm not. The person I'm in love with, it's still things that I won't do right now, and Lord knows it's, life. But like me being able to like go out and be unfaithful to him, I couldn't, because that was me using discernment. Do I ever want to hurt him? No, I don't want to ever hurt him. Do I want to be disloyal to him? No, I don't want to be disloyal to him. Do I want to do anything that could affect our relationship on my behalf? No, I don't want to do that. Do I want to hurt the children that are involved? No, I want to hurt them. Using discernment, because it's other people that are affected by things that you do, your actions and stuff. So in my mind, it's like, no, I'm not doing none of that. I'm going to keep it calm, cool, and collected. And I'm on chill. That's the one that I chose. That's the one I'm going to rock with. That's the only one that I'm going, do what I do with. And I'm very proud of myself because I've become growth. I've become a very solid and righteous woman. But I had to learn a lot before I got to this place. But if I can do anything to help others grow and others become more righteous, and I'm not saying righteous in the sense like go to church every Sunday, because that's not, like, it's pastors that's in these churches that do not use discernment. They go in these churches and they do some real way trifling things. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying get up and go to church and that's using, like, that's not it. It's just about your actions and being a better human being, which shows that you use discernment. Knowing that you don't want to go out here and do anything that could be detrimental to somebody else's feelings or emotions or hearts or, physical being. It's using discernment. You know what I mean? Like, it's real. So, yeah. So, let's move forward. So, let's say you get in a relationship because you use the discernment of, like, all right, this is the person I want to be with. This is who it is. This is what it is. Because it's two parties. It's never one party in a relationship. A one-sided relationship will never work, right? Now, you have to then make the discernment. Again, I told y'all how I think when it comes to me being in love. I love hard. I love real hard. And if I love you hard, everything is about you. There's nothing that I'm going to try to do to hurt you because I love you. I'm in love with you. Like, and it takes me a while to get there. That's a climb. That's an uphill battle. I don't just jump out there. I'm in love. No, I'm really, I hate this. I really believe in my heart of hearts that I'm a rock, right? There's a diamond in there, but you got to chip at it and chip at it and chip at it until you break through the rock to get to the diamond, right? And once you break through that rock and get to the diamond, this diamond is yours. This diamond is yours, and it's yours alone and nobody else. That's if I really love you. You feel like nobody else can have it. It's just you, and that's it. So then you have to, but let's say, for example, let's say one party cheats. So then you have to use the discernment of whether or not y'all gonna stick it out or not. Is it worth it or is it not worth it? I like to tell people, and I hate that I keep saying I worked in PR. I should not be saying that much, but I, I try to warn people, and especially when it comes to me getting into relationships. Like, my cutoff game is so serious. If like, I hate that it is. I'm forgiven, but it's only but so many chances that I can give you. You can't keep doing the same repetitive shit. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Or you can't do, in this case, you can't keep doing the same thing and think that I'm going to remain the same, because I'm not. But if I love you, I will work with you really, really hard until you make me not work with you anymore. And then at that point, it's just like, okay, well, what am I doing? Because at that point, I'm being repetitive, expecting a different result, and I'm not getting a different result. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe in keep trying to do the same thing and believing that I'm going to get a different result. I just don't. So then you have to use discernment on whether or not you're supposed to be with the person. Like, are you supposed to stay? Are you supposed to go? It's a lot of decision making when it comes to relationship. But again, it's using discernment. There are times where your partner can make a mistake, I hate to call that mistakes though, but they get in these situations. Temptation taps on their door and says, hey, I'm here. Take me. And sometimes they fall victim. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're always going to fall victim. Sometimes people feel really bad about, falling for temptation. And they're like, yo, I'm not doing this no more because it really hurt the person that I was with. But that's them using discernment. They're recognizing that situation really hurt that person. That situation, that's them seeing the pain and that person's physical being and their thoughts and like how they treat them. It's discernment. It's them using discernment to recognize that this is not what it is. I don't want to be the one that hurt them, so I'm not going to do it no more. And in those cases, then the other spouse has to use the discernment. Okay, do I believe this? The only way that I see that they believe that is if the actions change, if they're not on that same tip. But if they're not doing that, then you have to make the decision. You have to use discernment and to say, all right, am I going to stay or am I going to go? Am I going to try to work this out and see if this person is going to actually change and do things differently? Or am I going to get the fuck out of here because I'm cussing now, because this motherfucker is crazy. It's using discernment. I could talk about this because I have had experience in the domestic abuse situation. A lot of times when it comes to having a partner who is like an abuser, a lot of men and women are abused every day. Men get abused too. So ladies, stop just making it seem like it's just y'all. It's not just y'all. It's the men out here that go through domestic abuse as well, right? And then it's the making the discernment of like, and I know it sounds sick, but just hear me out. There are times when especially when you're in those kind of situations where you're thinking like it's going to change, it's going to be different. 9 times out of 10. It's not going to change. It's not going to, I'm going to say 10 out of 10 is not going to change. It's not going to be different. You're still going to get the same situation. Like I said, it's repetitive behavior. You're doing the same, like you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But when it comes to domestic abuse, there are times where, in your mind mentally, and I'm telling you from experience, that you think, okay, we can change this. We can go to therapy. We can fix this. We can make this better. But the problem is with that situation is you're not using discernment that you're not using the discernment or recognizing that you're not the only one in a relationship. And in order for that to change, you both have to be ready to make the change. It can't just be you. And then at some point in time, you use your discernment and you say, I gotta get out of here, because if I don't, I'm not gonna be here anymore. It took me getting pushed into a window, a 3rd-story window in a brownstone, to use my discernment. Like, this is not gonna change. This is gonna be the same. I didn't die today, but tomorrow is another day. So I packed my stuff and I got out of there. It's discernment, but nobody can tell anybody how things are gonna be. You feel me? You just, nobody can tell you that. You just gotta understand. Then you have to come to that, but have to that point in using the discernment of not only you agreeing, but them agreeing. It's a co-agreement of the status of your relationship and what it is that you want out of that relationship. It's a lot that comes with discernment. I don't think that everybody, and sometimes it's good to take a break from each other. You have to use the discernment of like, all right, we need to step back and see if this is what we really want, because a lot of times people will stay in situations and really won't step back and think like, okay. And unfortunately, like, because we love a person, we'll be like, yeah, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to, you know what I mean? But sometimes you need to take a step back and just get it together and come back to who you really are, because not all the time, sometimes you get lost in relationships. You get lost in the person that you with because you're so in love, like, I'm going to stay with you forever. And you want to, trust me, you want to, but you got to use your discernment and recognize that maybe it's not going to work out, and it's okay. It's all right. You got to stop looking outside of yourself for answers. That's part of discernment. Sometimes, my dog is whimpering. She don't want to be where she is. Sometimes you got to recognize and use discernment about whether you're doing too much to try to make it work, and maybe they're not doing enough. You got to use this. A part of using discernment is recognizing that not always the grass is greener on the other side. I hate that term, but it's true. Like, the grass is not always greener on the other side. You think it is, but it's not necessarily. A lot of shit. It might be a lot of baggage that you don't know because it's the other side. You think it's more beautiful over there, and then you get over there and see that the grass is dying, or that it's not really grass. It's like dirt. It's like fake grass. I'm trying to tell you. Use discernment about what you bring into the relationship. And that's understanding is very much important. Sometimes we try to stay together for the kids. You need to use discernment about that. I'm not a believer in we should stay together for the kids. Should we use discernment about how we co-parent these kids? Yes, but not staying together for the kids. I don't believe in that. And also, are you trying to solve an unsolvable problem? A lot of times we get in these situations and we get with people, and there's other issues that don't have anything to do with you. It's something to do with them. And it'll make you feel because it's rough and you're going through everything at that particular time, but it's not necessarily you. So sometimes, I hate that I'm about to use this term, but sometimes you got to take yourself out of the situation. And step outside and see that it's not you, but maybe it's something going on with them. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's all about discernment, baby. Using it. Use it. I'm dead serious. Use it. I have a few questions that go along with that. Sometimes I throw out some questions, and people come through, they might have a question. So this is, a few questions that were thrown my way. So I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it real quick before I get to showing love, because I want to do that really soon. All right. So, why are girls so stuck up? You should use discernment about the girls that you're choosing. The girls that you're choosing are stuck up. It's not that all girls are stuck up. Not all girls are stuck up. There's a lot of really down to earth girls out here. It's just about, I said it before and I'll say it again. Sometimes it's not, you're like, okay, well, maybe it's the people that you're choosing. I believe that. Now, there's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, but not all the, like, not everybody's the same. And I hate that everybody thinks that everybody is the same. Here's another one. How can I tell the good men from the jerks? Baby, if I had the answer to that, I have everything figured out. Life is what it is. Everybody's not the same again. So you just need to use discernment about. And there are red flags. Sometimes we don't pay attention to them. I know I've been guilty of, not paying attention to the red flags because I was so jaded and in love and all of those things. But there's certain things that we should pay attention to as well. And I so use discernment. That's it. It's that simple. All right, I want to get to showing some love real quick, but it boils down to you using discernment. Even in sex, before I get to showing this love, let me say this real quick. Even in sexual relations, you should use discernment. It's so many diseases and things that you could catch, like people doing stuff unprotected. They're not using discernment. And then also, when you do things unprotected, that you're spreading not only energy and spirits and stuff, you're also spreading bodily fluids. You should use discernment about that. And fellas, specifically, y'all, I know we talked about this about Ray J. We talked about this recently, and Ray J made a very I don't know if we talked about it. I think I shared it on social media, but Ray J made a very valid point, and a lot of doctors who will be online talking about it made very valid points, and it's this. Fellas, when you have unprotected sex with a woman and then you go and have unprotected sex with another woman, don't get mad if their vaginas don't smell too hot. You're spreading juices. Everybody's pH balance ain't the same. They don't match up, bruh. Like, you can't be doing that. And then you run around, how stuff stink. Now, ladies, this is for y'all. When you go around sleeping with a whole bunch of different people, they're sleeping with other people too. You're spreading, they're spreading, and you're spreading your pH balance everywhere. And then everybody talking about everybody, all her stuff stink. But why? Because you're spreading the pH balance, and everybody's pH balance don't mesh up. It don't go together. It's not supposed to. Use discernment. So let me get to showing some love really, really quick, because I don't want to take too long with this. I got to go with my top 6. First of all, shout out to anybody who's watching. Let me see where we watching from tonight, because people don't be losing. Whoever's watching from YouTube, big shout out to you. And whoever's watching from Twitch, big shout out to you. And whoever's watching from Facebook, big shout out to you. Thank you for using discernment and deciding to watch this show. But everybody's pH balance no go. You can't just keep going and sticking your stuff into other stuff, and then going and sticking your stuff into other people's stuff, and then wonder why it stinks. Because you're not using discernment. Anyway, big shout out to whoever's watching, but also big shout out to whoever downloads this podcast and listens to this podcast. I adore you, especially those that come back and show love and really, really listen. My top 6, I gotta show y'all love because y'all show me love. So I'm gonna show you love. The United States, France, Germany, India, UK, and Belgium, specifically Brussels. Thank you guys for being my top 6. I appreciate you for always coming back and always showing love. I love you. But to anybody else that listens to this podcast, that doesn't mean I love them more than I love you, because I do not. I love you all equally. I do. Right? Because you use the discernment and you come here and you listen. You recognize that this is a good show, actually. And sometimes we be, talking about some good stuff. So thank you. But other countries I love: Brazil, Netherlands, Singapore, South Africa, Spain. Yeah, Spain showing out. Australia, Japan, Mexico, Ireland, Nepal, Mauritius, Israel, Canada, Hong Kong. Yes, baby. Thank you for using your discernment and recognizing that this is a good show. Russia, China, which is crazy. Netherlands. No, I said Netherlands already. Poland, Tunisia, Venezuela, baby. Big thank you for using your discernment. I love you. Thank you for coming through and checking this podcast. I got more. I'm not done. Sorry. I show my people love. I don't know about y'all, but I show my people love, and I'm about to show my people some love right now. Hold on, because we're not even where we supposed to be. It ain't even looking right, and I can't. It's like 4 different lists, y'all. So if you ever wonder why I'm saying, hold up, wait a minute, it's because it's like 4 different lists that I look at because my podcast is everywhere. It's everywhere. I want to share the love. I want to share the love with everybody. All right. So I do know, hold on. Okay. We back. We got it. We got it together. Sometimes this computer here gives me problems. Okay. So, Indonesia, thank you for coming through. I love you. Thank you for using your discernment. Because you really have been using it. Switzerland, thank you for coming through. So Switzerland, Turkey, thank you for coming through. Austria, thank you for coming through. Hi, babies. Kenya, Pakistan, Romania, thank you for the love. And last but not least, let me make sure it's not an extra one on here though. And last but not least, my babies in Nigeria. Thank you for using your discernment and coming through and watching this podcast because you did. And I love you for it. You're great. You're awesome. You're amazing. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But wait, I just want to make sure we didn't miss anybody. Okay. No, I think we're good. I think we are. Hold on. I think we are good here. Just 1 second, and then we'll get to the nitty gritty of everything. Yeah, but I think for the most part, it's a wise thing to use your discernment. Your actions can affect other people. And I know that we think, oh, it's all about me, and I'm the only one that I got to worry about, me and mine. But there are other people. And especially if you bring those people into the fold and say that they're yours, then yeah, you should use discernment about how you carry things because you're not the only one to be affected by your actions, and they need to use discernment when it comes to you because whatever they doing could affect you. It's discernment. And when you use discernment, it makes you a better person. It makes you really be out here like, all right, this is something I really should be doing. Should I be carrying it like this? It's discernment. That's all. All right, so there's some things I have to say before I get out of here. Because I gotta say them. This is what I say every night. First things first, if you would like to come on this show, please hit me up at ambitiouslythepodcast@gmail.com. Again, the email address is ambitiouslythepodcast.com. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I know you see it. Remember, you can always join the conversation, drop a comment, call in, text, ask me to drop the link, come on the actual screen and talk to me live. It's always there. Yeah, always there. I have mentioned if I do play videos, I don't play them usually on Wet and Wired Wednesday, but I will be here for Fire Friday, so make sure you tune in because it should be a good show. We got a few videos we got to check out. Remember to always like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Any like, any share, any subscription, it helps the show, and it's a free way to do so. So please make sure you do that. Okay. Check out our website, www.ambitiouslyentertainment.com. Again, the website is www.ambitiouslyentertainment.com. If you would like to donate to the show, you can always do that. This is scrolling, $ capital L, the rest are all lowercase, UR, LUC. I can't even get it out. Capital LUR, LUCIDITY. Lord Lucidity. I had to get it. I get tongue tied. I don't know. It's weird. I say a lot in the show, so it's easy for me to get tongue-tied. And remember that this podcast is streaming on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, you name it, we there. Deezer. I don't care where you listen from, we're there, baby. Pandora, all that good stuff. Go check us out. Go check out previous episodes. You might have missed a couple, and there's some good stuff on there. So go check it out. Yeah, just do that. But we don't have time. But yeah, y'all, I had to get that out of the way before we get out of here. But I just feel as though that if we, because it's always about leading by example. If, for example, like, no boss can be a great boss without doing the job, right? You have to do the job in order for you to be able to instruct your employees how to do the job. And then you have to use my word of the night, discernment, to be able to give them the right tutelage to do the proper job. It's the same thing with anything in life, your relationships, your kids, your friendships, because you got to use discernment in friendships. And I'll skip that one, and I didn't mean to, but even with friendships, there's certain things that you could do as a friend that can be detriment to your friendship. You have to use discernment. Like, if you're a jealous friend, then you should make the discernment that I should probably not be in this friendship, because I know that I'm a jealous friend. I know that I'm jealous of this person, and it's going to be bad if it goes down. Or if you're the friend on the other end and you know that the friend is a jealous friend, and you could tell by everybody has red flags. So you could tell by a person's actions whether or not they are jealous friends. Then you use the discernment that I need to haul tail out of this friendship, because it's not conducive to me. It's not healthy for me. Use the discernment. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So with that being said, I got a few things I have to say. Now, I'm going to do this before I get out of here, because I should. So I'll be right back. What a time to be alive. I repeat, what a time to be alive. Did you know that you could get fresh ingredients along with beautiful recipes delivered to your door? Did you know that? Well, you can get 21 free meals plus free shipping and 3 free gifts when you use the code HelloFresh21. The link is in the description. Again, use the code HelloFresh21 to get 21 free meals plus free shipping plus 3 free gifts. I'm telling you, it's time to get healthy, y'all. It definitely is. And you get fresh ingredients, great recipes. Yeah, do that. Anyway, so now that I've done that, because I had to use discernment about playing these commercials, I'm about to switch up how I do those, though, because a lot of change is coming. It's a lot of change happening. Like, I try not to stay in the same place when it comes to this podcast. I like to try to make sure that I'm doing things to progressive things when it comes to this podcast. So yeah, we got a few things we had to change. And then I had the opportunity to learn from some very fantastic people who have been in the broadcasting industry for a long time. And so they taught me a lot. We're about to graduate. They taught me a lot, and they put me in a lot of great situations to where as though I can build this platform up. So yes, I'm using discernment about how I'm moving with this podcast as well. It's about time for me to get up out of here, though. I got things to do, got a kid to get ready for school and all of that good stuff. So there's a few things I have to say before I get out of here, though. First things first, mind your business. Everybody's business is not your freaking business. Mind your business. Staying in your lane and minding your business is 2 different things, and I'll explain that when I get to staying in your lane. But mind your business. It's not safe out here for you to be in everybody's business all the time. And I had to remind myself of that the other night, because I was totally about to go mind other people's business, because I get nosy from time to time. But if you do want to mind other people's business, come here on Media Monday, and I will help you, because that's what I do on Media Mondays. I tell other people's business. That's what I do. I tell you about all the trending topics, all the latest gossip, all the good stuff. So come here on Media Mondays and I will help you mind other people's business. But as far as these streets, mind your business. It's not safe out here. Secondly, love your babies, hug your babies, encourage your babies. They need that the most. You are the front line of their encouragement. You know, parenting is a hard thing and sometimes you get exhausted, but there should never be a time where you do not encourage those babies. You should always be telling your baby your baby or babies that they are the greatest of all time. They are the GOATs. I tell other people, kids, that every morning. When I walk my daughter to school, I got a group of kids and I give them a speech. And in that speech, I'm like, remember, you are the greatest of all times. And they love it. I got a whole crew. If they want to work for NASCAR, tell them to be the best NASCAR driver, pit boss, commentator, or whatever the hell else they do over there in NASCAR. I don't know. I never work for them. If they want to work for NASA, tell them to be the best astronaut, engineer, janitor, receptionist, secretary, and whatever else they do over there at NASA, because I don't work for NASA. But tell them to be the greatest that they can be and that they are the greatest. And last but not least, please, please, please stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, because you jump in my lane, you getting this. Yep, all day. All day. You don't want that. You want her. She's cute and cuddly and kind. She's so sweet. I'm a Libra, so I'm balanced. Like, I could be real ignorant, but I could be really, really sweet. It's depending on what you decide you want from me. But you want her especially. Because if I'm purring, I'm happy, baby. But the point is, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Reason why is because what usually happens is a collision. And nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. And the difference between mine and nosy, you just a spectator. You looking from afar. Lane, that means you didn't involve yourself all the way in a situation that you should not involve you should never have involved yourself in. So stay in your lane. And with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you for watching the show. You are extraordinary. You are great. You are the GOAT. And I love you so much for doing so. Come back Fire Friday. We're gonna catch this heat. And we should have another hood history up this weekend. I didn't get to do it last weekend because a lot of stuff was going on. And then I had to study for my state exam and all that good stuff. But we will have one this weekend. So make sure you tune in for that. It is its own podcast now. So it's no longer a part of Ambitiously Podcast. You have to go you got to go Hood History the podcast to check it out. I will be doing it live though, again, because I kind of enjoy doing it live. So I will be doing it live, so you can check it out on YouTube or Facebook, or Twitch. But yeah, check out Hood History. We have some things to talk about. When I had lunch breaks and things of that nature, I did the research. So we're gonna sit down and talk about a few people. So with that being said, good night. I love you. Be safe and don't be out here doing nothing crazy. Good night. Bye.